Earlier, I spoke with Pennsylvania Republican Senator Dave McCormick, a member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Take a listen. Senator, does a U.S. military strike, possibly in coordination with Israel, feel imminent to you and to the people of Pennsylvania, based on your reading of them, want that to happen?
Well, good evening. Listen, I think what's happening is that the noose is tightening around Iran. It's shown itself to be a bankrupt in terms of its economy, in terms of its moral standing, in terms of its military. And I think President Trump's putting growing pressure on. I don't know if it's imminent, but clearly there's going to have to be a catalyst for change. And that catalyst is either going to be a dramatic turnabout in the way the Iran team has been negotiating, or there's going to be added pressure and added force. How that force manifests itself, I think it's too early to tell. But the president's positioned himself in such a way he's got a wide range of alternatives for kinetic action. And none of that's going to involve U.S. troops on the ground, but there's lots of ways to put added pressure on the Iranian regime.
In our latest poll, Senator, 72% said they don't believe the administration has explained the rationale for military action. Is that what you're picking up in Pennsylvania?
Well, I think I find a more receptive ear from people in Pennsylvania. I think the simple argument is as follows. Iran has blood on its hands. It's killed thousands of Americans. It has threatened time and again to destroy America if it gains access to a nuclear weapon, to destroy Israel, our closest ally in the region. And you just have to ask yourself a question. Does Iran having a nuclear weapon, or does Iran having growing capability pose a real risk to America? Would they use it? I think the answer is yes. In addition to that, I think we see the Iranian people rising up. And we want to stand behind those people seeking freedom. We don't want to do that in a way that gets America entangled in some lengthy war like happened in Iraq and Afghanistan. But we do want to support the forces of freedom. And so I think when people hear that, they understand. They don't want American troops coming home in body bags, that's for sure. So they're skeptical of long military engagement. But I also think President Trump's built some credibility with the way he's conducted military operations in Venezuela and earlier last year in Iran. I think he's got some money in the bank in terms of credibility with the American people.
Let's pick up on that Midnight Hammer operation last summer. The president said over and over the nuclear capabilities in Iran were obliterated. If they were, why would we need to go back?
Well, I think two things. I think, number one, I think it was always said at the time that there had been significant damage done on the nuclear capabilities. It wasn't clear whether they had set them back 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, but it had set them back significantly. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Second is Iran has built an enormous missile capability, which it has used in the past on Israel and others. So there's clearly an enormous military capability there. It's been greatly eroded by the previous actions, but they're still, they pose significant military risk. And again, they've not only threatened to use that, they have been the source of underwriting terrorist proxies across the Middle East for decades. Every American that's been killed by Hezbollah, by Hamas, by the towers in Khobar, the funding mechanism behind that was Iran. This is a bad regime that has taken American lives, and we need to operate with humility. But make no mistake, it's in America's interest for this regime to either turn the page and become dramatically different, which I'm very skeptical about, or to ultimately turn over to a new day in Iran.
There's a theory that when an adversarial regime is weak, that is the time to strike. Do you believe the Iranian regime is as weak as it's ever been, not only internally, but externally with its proxies in the region, and that it's now time to take it on and displace it through American military might?
Well, I do believe it's at a point of weakness in terms of anything I've seen in decades. On the dimensions, I said, it's shown itself to be bankrupt economically. The sanctions have really bitten. 80% of the people live in poverty. The protests we're seeing from young people are at all-time highs. And the military capability that was, a reign of terror that was promised on Israel last year proved to be far less effective and capable than we had expected, I think. And so they've been greatly undermined, but they're still pose significant risks. So I think we are at a point where the regime is likely to change. I would guess if you and I were talking sometime around next year at this time, the regime will have changed. What process it goes through to get to that, I'm not sure. But in the end, America's interests are to get rid of the underwriter of terror, to get rid of any risk to the American people or Israel from nuclear weapons, and to lay a path for self-determination for the people of Iran, all without getting America entangled in years of bloody war in the Middle East, which we have no appetite for.
Easier said than done. History has reminded us of that. Pennsylvania Republican Senator Dave
Indeed.
McCormick, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.